Picture yourself at a party. One person is talking about the rain, and another is going on about their weekend. Everyone else seems to be having a good time, but you feel like you're following a script you never learned. It's not that you don't like people. It's just that your brain is built to find meaning and get things done, and small talk doesn't do either of those things. You aren't avoiding humans, you're just avoiding conversations that feel empty. There are a few specific reasons why small talk feels so draining for a mind like yours. Let's go through them one by one. First, your brain just works too fast. When you're around people, you aren't just hearing words, you're spotting patterns. If someone tells a story about their drive to work, you've probably guessed the ending before they even finish the first sentence. You might even notice things that don't add up or count the odds of it happening again. Most people like the steady back and forth of casual chat, but to you, it feels like watching a movie you've seen 100 times. It's tiring because you have to wait for them to reach a point you already saw coming 10 minutes ago. It isn't that you think you're better than anyone. Your brain just processes things at a speed that makes normal talk feel like a slow-motion video. Trying to keep yourself from finishing their sentences or cutting to the chase is a lot of work. Second, you need a lot of depth to stay interested. Some people talk to relax and turn their brains off, but for you, that's almost impossible. You love ideas and systems. When a conversation stays on the surface, your brain starts to get bored. Think of it like being really hungry and only getting one grape every half hour. That's what small talk is like. There isn't enough there to keep your mind busy, so you start to zone out. People might think you're being rude, but you're really just looking for something worth thinking about. You'd much rather talk about how the world is changing or why time feels like it's speeding up than hear about what someone had for lunch. You aren't being a snob. Your brain just needs more information to stay awake. Third, the way we socialize doesn't always fit the way you think. There's an idea that our ancestors needed social groups to survive, but researchers have found something odd about people with high IQs. While most people feel better when they hang out with friends, very smart people often feel less happy the more they socialize. This is usually because their goals are about big, long-term projects. Hanging out can feel like a distraction from the work that makes you feel alive. If you're busy solving a tough problem or learning something new, a night at a loud bar feels like a chore instead of a break. Your brain is set up to focus deeply on one thing, which clashes with the idea that you should always be out and about. Fourth, you're doing the social work by hand. For most people, things like body language and tone of voice happen automatically. They don't think about it. But for you, these interactions are often manual. You aren't just feeling the mood, you're studying it. You're making a choice about when to look someone in the eye, how much to smile, and what to say next. This is called masking, and it's a lot of work. Because you're so aware of how people act, you can't just relax. You're always part observer, watching how everyone behaves. This uses up a ton of energy. After 2 hours at a party, you feel like you've run a marathon, while everyone else is still going strong. You aren't broken. You're just running a complex system that takes more power to do the simple stuff. Fifth, you're looking for a real connection. People get this wrong and think you hate others, but that's not it. You probably care a lot about people. What you hate is the struggle of shallow talk. You're looking for your group of people who don't need you to slow down or explain your jokes. When you find someone who can keep up, you could talk for 8 hours and not feel tired at all. You skip the weather and the small stuff and go right to what matters. To you, one talk like that is better than 1,000 parties. You might stay home on a Friday night with a tough book, because it's better than being in a room where you have to pretend to be someone less intense. Sixth, there's a gap in how we talk. Some experts think people connect best when their intelligence levels are somewhat close. If you're way above average, the number of people you can naturally talk to gets pretty small. It's like speaking a language that only a few people know. You have to keep translating your thoughts into simpler words just to be understood. Eventually, that gets old, and you might decide it's easier to just stay quiet. It can make you feel pretty lonely, but it's just because you're built for a very specific type of thinking. You're like a high-end tool that only works in certain situations, and that's okay. If you've always felt like an outsider, your need for alone time isn't a flaw. It's how you protect your mind. You aren't avoiding people. You're saving your energy for the things and the people that actually matter. You don't have to force yourself to like small talk. You just need to find the places where your deep thinking is seen as a good thing. Socializing isn't about how many hands you shake or how many parties you go to. It's about the quality of the people you meet. When you stop trying to fit in, you realize that being alone isn't the same as being lonely. It's just the space you need to let your thoughts breathe.